24 hours, the state is going to take that responsibility. That is the 24-hour economy.
At what cost?
Oh, at the cost of the state.
It's a 24-hour economy. No. No,
Yebe identify sectors. Yebe to me abwamo with revenue, with resources, with even technical knowledge, with security. Na yabwamo ebia factory bi ana company bi with free zones. Na yabwa omo na omo etumi asisa because ebia omo machines nkrapo no ebia capacity no eni ho and say ye recalibration be inti it will be carefully examined and then the companies and now factories and now business establishments are able to me adjustment no ye apart from that no so no labor and conform be ye adwuma no as I say ye in hihye emra as I say emra sesa into even policies and laws ni nyina no e be sesa to realign into nyoma bebre be sesa in hihye ye be ye hihye bebre but the basic idea no say instead say wo be ye adwuma 9 to 5 no ye hye say ye be chi aye adwuma 9 to 5 7 to let's say 12 and then 1 to let's say 6 now yenya more employment yenya more resources and revenue yenya more products and a bigger market, especially for your exports. Into ye betumi ashe poultry, ye betumi so ashe some aspects of farming and some production. Yeah, that's it. This is the idea.
I know ye ma ye no wasena ye mfa de no ensi.
About the 40 day. Our
24 hours economy.
Now how they all tias here.
24 hour economy no. Obi atias here. Very very simple. Sisi ya buy about 10. Ekobot 10. Abona ekobot 10. Ya pon another president another program it was it's another 24 hours na yakwa anim. Anambwa. Ya pon mo show na still on header ho. Anambwa. We put my students na sada so from 10 to 11.
Yeah, go off.
Mo pon but another political program enkoso biom. Anambwa.
It's going to be 24-hour economy.
That's your host here.
That's our politics.
Yes, not so host near Yatuasu. On this point, apart, na Omomudu Namusaba, near Queen. See the Numpong, Obian Filia say, nice, it's money to us.
Nay, bon.
Mompong, but a program is a program Nepong, Anambwa. Program Nepong, Yapon, she before now, Motrain. Now I can say not time because once we could have booked them to buy. So 1 hour, another 2 hours are. Now you are 12 and 12 2 and a point. You are pony a coffee.
Namoso Pana for Fraba.
Never Fraba.
The politics throughout.
Never say another before peace family. Some this way. We have blah blah blah. So we wasting now. Now almost a bone do. Now say one na a cost. And never my economy. Yet me boss you can yet get in
24-hour economy. No, the Ayaba say. Abai ebecha electricity boa ewo from kura ediama enyuma yefo mo beba adwuma anajo no mabeya adwuma enti mo amoye fundraise mo amoye welders mo amokura cars ne ne amanema mo hia electricity pa no mo penufo na mo adwuma emfaso abamu a mo be sign na mo ba adwuma anajo use electricity a na ne boa ya dey akofom wo mo ya iron rods ene ya mu yusu anyama wode kese no mo be ye mo adwuma anajo a wo be hu se anyama wode boa be kofom pa aboa mo ama mo anya mfaso na maburu no so wo mo anya adwuma aye
megidi yesese party no to meet na sena mo twiro se senior be kono na mo nyina ma no eye ba ko a megidi se be boa yen
my prof in Chubia.
Into sentence, no, why do Nankasa no one correct into the
Debbie, prof.
The eyes cannot see what the brain does not know.
With the prof, with the.
I think I've just been insulted. But that's the same. That's the same. Ubisa in Chechemupe. This is the posture.
Yes, I think we are drawing the curtains here. My name, as you know, Akwesi Wodi Akrobatro.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to this edition of the show. It's always my pleasure to they start to close my button. Yeah, sorry. Well, welcome to the show. 9:27, top of the hour. This is Good Evening Ghana and it's live. Tonight, we have so much for you. Wow, what an unveiling it was. There was Dr. Kwame A, the first president. Then there was Prime Minister Buzia, the second leader. He was called a prime minister. In fact, Kwame A was prime minister before he became president in 1960. He ruled from 1951 until 1966. So that makes it 10 plus 5. That's 15 years of political dominance of Ghana's first foray at nationhood. And then after that, he was overthrown by a coup. Some people said it was a good coup. Some people said it was a bad coup. We still yet to see. The jury is still out on the verdict on that one. Then came Prime Minister Buzia. He's a man from Wenchi. They call him Kofi Abrefa. Okay. One of the social media editors just came. She was crossing the camera, so they stopped her. That's why I stopped. They call him Kofi Abrefa Buzia. He was prime minister from 1609. He was also overthrown in a coup. Buzia ruled for 27 months. And then came the coup leader, Kutua Champon, who ruled from 1972 until 1978. 6 years it would be. He was overthrown by his colleagues in a palace coup because they wanted to save the sinking image of the regime and of the Ghana Armed Forces. So they overthrew him in 1978. The new man, the new military strongman, was General Akufu. He hailed from Ekropon. General Achampon is an Ashanti. He came from somewhere in the Boko area. Boko is a village behind the Suyeboa area. And then came General Akufu. General Akufu had barely settled down when on May 15th, an attempt was made to overthrow his government by Flight Lieutenant Rawlins. Rawlins was tried before a military court-martial for mutiny. During the trial, Jerry Rawlins won the hearts of many of the young people who went to Burma Hall in Burma Camp to witness the trial on June 4th, 1979, when he was due to return. It was the adjourned date for the proceedings, presided over by one Colonel Enimfo, who was the Director General of Legal at the Ghana Armed Forces. General Enimfo was preparing Monday morning from his house in Juba Villas to attend the hearing in Burma Hall, which is just a 5-minute drive, when gunshots went out at the BNI headquarters at North Ridge, not far from where I'm speaking to you right now. And it was the gunshots of Boachijan, Ba Chamfor, and the other name I'm looking for, it will come. Boachijan, Ba Chamfor, and others. They had gone to fire weapons at the BNI headquarters and demanded the release of the flight lieutenant, Air Force Captain J.J. Rawlins, and his men who had been in the BNI cells awaiting to be transported to Burma Hall for the adjourned date of their trial. It was widely believed that on Monday, June 4, J.J. Rawlins, who had been pronounced guilty, would have been sentenced to death by firing squad. But fate had it that J.J. Rawlins was released from prison by Boachi Jan and others. And Captain Kumsin is the name I'm looking for. Captain Kumsin was one of them. And also the gentleman who now heads Akufo-Addo security, his name is Captain Koda. He was also one of those who shot guns to release J.J. Rawlins. What had happened without J.J.'s knowledge is that Major Suleimana, who had taken over 5th Battalion of Infantry and who had foiled the May 15th coup, had been overpowered by his colleague officer Boachi Jan in 5BN. 5BN was therefore under complete control Recce was in favor of the action. And so with 5BN gone, it was easy to go to BNI and release J.J. Rawlings. He was sent to the broadcasting house and he made a broadcast to the nation. It was good for Ghana that J.J. Rawlings decided to just do his house cleaning and allow elections to happen. Elections happened and the Nkrumah's party called PNP won a second round to signify Ghana's actually first real presidential election. Ghana's first real presidential election was held in 1979. It was won by the PNP on a second round by Hilary Liman. Hilary Liman's party was Nkrumahist, even though Liman himself was a member of the UP and the NPP. The story has it that Hilary Liman had attempted to be a member of parliament for the UP party called the PFP, which was led by Victor Usu. In the same year, he had failed in Gwelu to win the primaries. He had been available for his uncle Imoro Igala, who was primed to be presidential candidate, but Igala had been disqualified by the rules, and he brought in his nephew Liman to lead the party that was not Liman's party. Liman, however, won the election and became president. Liman ruled for 2.5 years until after that the military came in again. Guess who? By Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, Captain Chikata, Arnold Kwenu, and all the bandwagon that followed JJ. They came in and launched a Provisional National Defense Council and launched a revolution that lasted until 1992. So between 1981 and 1991, J.J. Rawlings was president of Ghana, head of state, if you like. And then from 1992 until the year 2000, which was 8 years, J.J. Rawlings was president of Ghana. So in the scheme of things, J.J. Rawlings had been president of Ghana for 18 years. Kwame Nkrumah had been president of Ghana for 15 years. It is true, though, that Kwame Nkrumah was the lead independence winner for Ghana. No doubt about that. And so Nkrumah's place as the first president of Ghana and the winner for Ghana's independence cannot be overemphasized. The fact is there, and the parliamentary Hansard will show that on the 9th of 6th March 1957, Nkrumah led Ghana's parliament to open up the new parliament on 7th March, on 5th March, on 7th, new parliament on 6th March, and Nkrumah became Ghana's first president. Nkrumah was not just a Ghanaian hero, he was also an African hero. Nkrumah was the embodiment of black pride throughout the 50s and the 60s, the 70s and the 80s. Many years ago, I put a question to Ali Mazrui, a famous Kenyan historian recognized by the United Nations. Professor Mazrui sadly died a few years ago. When I put a question here on Good Evening Ghana to Professor Mazrui, who was visiting President J.A. Kufuor at the time, Mazrui said to me that the question about whether Nkrumah was a great leader is a paradox. He said that Nkrumah was a great African, but perhaps not such a great Ghanaian. That's how he ended the story with me. Okay, back to the statistics. J.J. Rawlings ruled Ghana for 18 years. Nkrumah ruled Ghana for 15 years. After that, J.J. Rawlings handed over, or the constitutional limitation prevented him from continuing. John Agyekum Kufuor came up to be president in an election that he won by the second round. It was the second time there had been a second round in Ghana's political history. Kufuor won the elections and ruled Ghana for 8 years. The constitutional limitation required that Kufuor should leave. And then Professor Mills became president of Ghana in 2009. Professor Mills ruled Ghana for 3.5 years. He was destined to have a 4-year term, but unfortunately, the icy hands of death laid on Professor Mills and he passed. John Dramani Mahama, the vice president, per the constitutional arrangement, took over Ghana's presidential leadership without an election on the 9th of 24th July 2012. 6 months later, John Dramani Mahama was elected in a first round victory to become president of Ghana. Mr. Mahama was president from 7 January until December 2016, when he was badly battered in an election which signifies the highest and the biggest defeat of any ruling party in the 4th Republican history and perhaps in the entire history of Ghana. The battle and the mantle went to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Nana Akufo-Addo picked it up on the 7th of January 2017. It is expected that next year, on the 7th of January 2025, Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will be handing over to a new president who will be elected in December. Why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because tonight we are going to assess the statements made by Nana Poku, the MPP's presidential candidate, which has come up for heavy criticism. Looking at what Nana Poku said, we also do have some criticism for him, but we think that the story is bigger than just body language and content of words that is used. The story is about the destiny of a country, and tonight we're going to deal with it in great detail. Let's go to the touch screen now, though, and find out what you, the viewers, have been saying about our flyers. After that, we'll take text messages. We take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll be on a highway. Did you catch the next chapter by Miracles Abuaji earlier today? My goodness, the guy is good. And I'm happy that the political parties are using media platforms. They are generating their own media platforms to tell their story. The other day, I was watching Samuel Jamefi and Captain Smart and the other guy. I think they also did very well. I mean, they were articulating the NDC position on matters, which seems to me like it's quite good. And I like the political parties thing. But tonight, if you watch Miracles Abuacha, the guy is a bullet. And you see, because he had been district chief executive before, the guy thoroughly understands development communication. So when he's communicating matters of what MPP has done, he has a certain flavor to it. Oh my God, that's why I was almost late. I was watching, my guy told me that Charlie, I'm going to be late too. I looked at the time. I was actually getting late. Miracles, good evening. All right, viewers, welcome to the show. Let's go to the touch screen now. I have a new graphic designer, you know. Should I tuck in my shirt? They are saying I should tuck in my shirt. Viewers, please. They say I should tuck in. Should I tuck in my shirt? They are telling me tuck in your shirt. Please tell me what I should do. Today is Friday, Thursday. We are dressing down, but they are urging me that tuck in your shirt. Okay, we'll see. Maybe I'll do that. But if you think I should tuck in my shirt, just tell me. Once you're a viewer and you tell me, I'll do it immediately. If another viewer says I shouldn't tuck in my shirt, I'll just count those who say tuck in my shirt, and then the majority will win, isn't it? All right. So this is our first flyer. We had my graphic designer, you know, I just told him that take any of Napo's photograph in a cloth and just put it in graphics for me. He did an excellent job in a very short time. So this is what we said. Let Nana Poku be Nana Poku, so that Asimesi will be Asimesi, and Obintin too will be Obintin, an editorial on political communication in an election year. So that's a major story. I think it will be our second story tonight, but that's a major story coming up tonight. Good evening again. Welcome to the show. Okay, what did people say about this? I thought you'd give me what people are saying about it, and then we go to one flyer after the other. All right, they didn't do that. Okay, so this is, this guy, he's called Giovanni Exma. I'm really looking to meet with him. Giovanni, please, next time that I'm in England, I'll look for you and send your number to my producers. He says that, Paul, I've never missed your program, but for tonight, I can't watch it because I have an early shift tomorrow morning at Croydon, and I will watch it in the bus 250 on my way to work. My name is Giovanni from Wandsworth, London. Oh, bus 250. I think I remember it small. Oh. Where is Samen? Samen is the one who knows all the buses everywhere. Bus 250 is the one that goes from where to where? I think it's from north to south or something. Oh, Giovanni, look, you've done well. You've done well. For you to be in London and watch this program, use your data to watch the program. The data, MTN, take the data money, don't give us some. I don't know why. Because it is because of us that you are using their data, but MTN doesn't recognize it. They won't give you any money for that. Giovanni, I'm so sorry. I will do a special package of Good Evening Ghana for you. Okay, let's see the other text messages. Sugri Jonah says, Mr. Paul and his team is just super excellent. You are just an institution on its own. Hey, Sugri, please. Oh, you, Sugri, you are lying. You are an MPP guy. You see, Sugri is an MP. You know how I caught him. He has Muhammadu Bahumia's picture there. Sugri, you are an MPP guy. You are an MPP guy, pa. But thank you anyway. Sugri is an MPP guy. He's an MPP guy. He says that we are super. Sugri, thank you. Christ the King Ghana Methodist Church. Okay, so this says that my husband and I can't wait. We will, as usual, be watching you and your great team, sir. From Athens, Georgia, USA. Keep the truth flag flying high. Praying with you always. Oh, that's so sweet. They are in the United States of America, and they are watching the program. Oh, husband and wife, God bless you. God bless you. We are also here. When we get money, we'll come to America and visit with you. Then you can take us to Washington, D.C., so we can see the statue of George Washington, the first president of America. You know, George Washington is the first president of America. Kwame Nkrumah is the first president of Ghana. George Washington is the first president of America. Kwame Nkrumah is the first president of Ghana. We are getting somewhere tonight, aren't we? Thank you very much, husband and wife. Thank you very much. Okay, Jefferson Anadon Kansan says it is possible. Joe K. Orion says, when a woman says that she loves her children more than her husband, she is clearly telling a lie. Hey, she can leave her children with her neighbors, but she will not leave her husband with a neighbor for a minute. Please, please. This program, we are not relationship coach. We are not doing Uncle Ebo White discipline. What is it called? We are not Uncle Ebo White. Now, we are about to do Good Evening Ghana and roll out stories. Now, Osimesi has sent a message. It says that when a woman says she loves her children more than her husband, she's telling a lie because she can leave the children with them. But the husband is an adult. Why must you leave him with neighbors? I don't understand. You see, children are left with neighbors because they need care. They need to be looked after. But the husband too, like me, you are leaving me for neighbors. That's what. When you are going after your wife, you just go and say, I'll see you later, baby. That's about it. When I'm going out, I say, I'll see you later, baby. Don't go nowhere, yeah? That's about it. But you are leaving your husband. The woman cannot leave their husband for neighbor. Why must they leave husband for neighbor? Husband is an adult. Please, Joe, come back again. Come again on this one. Honorable Saka said, you should be smart enough to understand that the use of the word car at the time was actually meant to describe this. But in today's context, the same thing could be a tricycle or an aboboya. He laughs. In 2024, nobody in his right senses will be thinking of something like this if a car is mentioned. Okay, Honorable Saka, I think you make a good point. We'll be dealing with it. They want me to tuck in? I shouldn't tuck in. They say I shouldn't be touching. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. So, yes, viewers, let's get back to the story. So, he's talking about the story. I'll come to that fly in a minute. D. Madi said, this can never be called car. You call it a tricycle or better still, a ride, but definitely not a car. Isaac Akwete says that, I'm so surprised at this unwitting analogy. If JDM really is to be credited for the implementation of free SHS, why did he challenge its possibility, viability as a policy in 2008, 2012, 2016, and when Anado was campaigning on it? Honestly, something is not adding up. Tonight I cannot but to refer to Kojo Sheldon. When Kojo Sheldon is presenting his broadcast, he says something like, it bust my brain. I mean, what is the meaning of NDC says? But I found the meaning. I found it. I'll tell you when we get to the analysis. I found it. Research was done. It's on Fifi Kwete's table. I found it. I'll get it for you viewers. We'll talk about it tonight. Okay. They are signaling me that time is running out. I have to be hurrying you up. All right. Somebody says here, this is Abdullah. He says, I was a student in 2012 and 2015, and it was never free to me. Today, my little sister is enjoying free SHS, so I understand what is free. Ikeman says, my second daughter entered SHS in 2016. She didn't enjoy free SHS. It was 2017 when those who entered SHS 1, when my daughter had moved to SHS 2 in 2017, when Anado introduced it. That was when the Form 1s in 2017 enjoyed it. So they were nicknamed as Nanamba, meaning Nana's children. Eichmann, it's the same story. For all of us, since this free SHS claim was made on Sunday night, what shall we say? Kojo Sheldon, what do you say? It bust my brain. Hey, what is happening in Ghana? All right, let's get on with it. Now, so that was our first flyer. Nana Poku was our first flyer. This was our second flyer. This one is something like a vehicle. It was projected by our friend Kwame A Plus, the independent parliamentary candidate that we are all supporting. Kwame A Plus put this up. And Kwame A Plus said that this is a car. The fact that the car today is not like this does not mean that the one who did this car did not start car. Very interesting, isn't it? Very, very, it makes sense. He said, this is a car. This is the first car. This is how cars started. In fact, most of the things in its original form today, they don't start like that. The mobile phone, the first mobile phone was like this. Hello, are you there? Uchamilo, Mimbano, hello, hello. Then you hold it. You can't put it in your pocket. But today I can slip the mobile phone in my pocket. So does it mean that the one who did this mobile phone, does it mean that he is not the originator of mobile phones? That's the question Kwame A Plus was asking. Very genuine question. We're going to deal with it tonight. So this is a car. So we said that they said this is the first car. It doesn't have AC, no wipers, and no complete roof. But it is the first car. Our answer is yes, it is. And then we say another editorial on the contest for the origin of free SHS. Next is our friend Azuri Manasseh, who these days writes to us all the way from the United States of America. He got himself into all kinds of difficulties. We thought that it's politicians who, as they say, talk by heart. That's what we thought. That it's politicians who talk by heart. Now, we didn't know that journalists also too can talk by heart. Do you know what he said? We'll show you. But this is what we wrote. Journalist Manasseh Azuri has eventually apologized for insulting Kumasi Kejetia people. But did he really insult us? Maybe he didn't. Maybe it was just small hatred for Nana Poku. Another editorial on mass communication. Now, the US may be asking, why did I say did he insult us? My uncle Yadonko is a Kejetia preacher. He's been preaching in Kejetia for a long time. Yadonko, who is my uncle, lives in Tikrom. He doesn't live in Kwamo. You know, Tikrom is just across the street from Kwamo. So there's Tikrom, there's Jachi, there's Fumusa, and then there's Kwamo. They're small towns. They are not big towns. So they don't have a chief. They have Odikros. And all of them, their paramount chief is a Josu Mahine. Okay. So my uncle Yadonko, he lives in Tikrom, and every morning he goes to Kejetia to go and preach. But there's a guy who's a graduate from Opokuwari secondary school. He went to Opokuwari up to sixth form, and then he went abroad. You know, all my uncles, they are in Germany, they are in Hamburg, you understand that. So he came back from Germany, and he lives in Tikrom, and he says that he has Sakra, he has seen Yami. So every morning, Yadonko goes to Kejetia to preach. Sometimes people call me and say, hey, who if I don't know, you did it, I'd be fan of. Then I'll say, oh, leave him alone. That's what he does. Sometimes at the weekend, he'll call me and say, good night, I said, oh, Fana, Bibi Abok, eh, Kejetia, my bompa, Nyamian Sam de Edo. I shall who you want crying. Oh, I say, yes, sir. So when I saw Manasseh write that thing, I said, hey, that Napo is talking like a Kejetia preacher. Hey, you are insulting my uncle Yadonko, Manasseh Azuri. Are you really serious? Then I saw some apology. I'll be reading the apology is long. Oh. He jumps up and comes down, then he jumps up he's all the way. You see, like his Arsenal people, they can't put the ball in there. They are playing over the bar, season 1, over the bar, season 2, over the bar. He was doing like Arsenal people. He's talking plenty. Journalist, he was insulting Kumasi Kejetia people. He's apologized. So I'm sure that to err is human. We will get to that story as well. So, viewers, this is the show tonight. You've seen all our flyers. Get ready for it. I think that we are almost there. In the circumstance, let's go to the text message people and see what people have said about the prelims of tonight's show. It's a Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, so relax. Chill out. Tomorrow is Friday. Let's talk politics till midnight. Then we go. All right. Who should I start with? Anziba, you have the first bite. What are people saying?
Thank you very much, Paul. So Mami Koko is saying, Mahama just mentioned the 24-hour economy in passing. It is the media who made it stand. That is why explaining it is so difficult for them. From a user called NPP today, the NDC's so-called communication experts have failed miserably in explaining their 24-hour economy plan, exposing the party's lack of substance and policy direction. It's clear that the NDC is solely focused on winning the elections rather than providing meaningful solutions for the country's progress. Their empty rhetoric and inability to articulate a coherent vision demonstrates their unsustainability to lead the nation. We have Clement Edu Jemfi saying, great show as always, good evening Ghana. And lastly from Sky One, good evening Paul. Lately, Ghanaians have forgotten about what Nkrumah did for the nation until Napo reminded us. Number 1, no graduates, not even a simple history student, talks of or post Nkrumah until Napo mentioned him. So we should be thankful to Napo for reminding Ghanaians that Nkrumah needs to always be on our airwaves because of his contribution to Mother Ghana. Okay, Antoinette, what do you have first?
Yeah, so Sylvester Mukadian says the truth actually hurts a lot. Why can't Nkrumah be compared to any human being at all? If he was that good as people want us to believe, why was he overthrown? It is only God that cannot be compared to any human. And I don't want to believe that people are equating Nkrumah to God. Napo, you are my hero. Now, Skinny one only says, I actually think it's time for us to interrogate what Napo said, because this Nkrumah who did not know himself but had to be discovered and transported home has suddenly become a god who cannot be criticized. How many kilometers of road, how many schools, how many hospitals, and what was the population? These are the questions we need to be asking. Franklin Domprey does not think same as these two people. He says it takes a certain kind of arrogant bravery to argue that an IMF-induced economy where Ghana has defaulted on its loan obligations and people have suffered head cuts is better than an Nkrumah government. Now, Emmanuel Owusu says, cannot wait. Honestly, I was saddened by the comment of Napo about Dr. Nkrumah. I think it was so unnecessary. It gave the NDC something to talk about, because up until that moment, they actually had nothing to say. But all the same, we move. Now, Isaac Kameni says, instead of focusing on the poorly explained 24-hour economy, they are busy engaging in needless propaganda with a political speech delivered on a political platform. Now, Isaac Akwete, he says, I am so surprised at this unwritten analogy. If JDM really is to be credited for the implementation of the free SHS, why did he challenge its possibility or viability as a policy in 2008, 2012, and 2016 when Nanado was campaigning on it? Honestly, something is actually not adding up. Now, Motijani says, I'm very surprised about the needless debate about who started the free SHS policy. Anybody who is claiming credit for free SHS policy other than Nanado and the NPP must actually be suffering from short memory influenced by whimsical depression for power. Now, Ms. Jerry says, if anyone says Nanado has done better than Nkrumah, all Ghanaians have to do is to compare their length of years, the resources and wealth available, and their records across all sectors, from economy to roads and infrastructure to aviation to education, digitization, constitution, tourism, sport, social interventions, energy, health, industry, agri, and security. Now, Ms. Jerry goes on to say that those who hate Nkrumah embarked on a massive reconstruction of the Nkrumah Park, making it more beautiful and attractive than it was since its construction. The Temamoto Way is also under construction under this same government. No one remembers what those who claim to love him did for him and his legacies. The same is true about the Asumdre Park. It took this government to renovate and refurbish the place. The place was left to deteriorate and rot under John Mahama and the NDC. And this is the man who gave them their jobs and daily bread. They love with only their lips. And lastly, Nixon Nation says, just a single policy, there's been different interpretations by people who are esteemed members of the flag bearer space. This should tell you the policy has actually been dead on arrival. How can this even be a supposed game changer? Over to you, Angelo.
Joe Wilson says, when people have hatred for others, it's so absurd. You spew your hatred without realizing it. It's good he came back to apologize. Well, I think we know who he's talking about. Al-Basid Sese says, as a running mate, Napo's strengths in leadership, policy, and community engagement will complement Dr. Bawumia's presidential bid. His selection may also help to appeal to professionals, the youth, and women voters. Very interesting addition, which are all strategically advantages for the NPP in the upcoming elections. Okay. Obama, watching us from Kowutafo, says, this election is very crucial for the NPP, and we won't sit down aloof for anyone to think for us. Last I checked, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah doesn't have the patent for best presidents in Ghana. So what is the crime of Napo for comparing Akufo-Addo to Nkrumah? We believe Akufo-Addo is the president, our best president ever due to his good works. If you don't have any indicator for that comparison, free SHS will guide you. Obama, people will come for you. Continuing anyway. Kabiesi, watching us from Second E, says the vice presidential race between Nana Opoku-Agyeman and Napo is going to be interesting.
Under Jane Nana Opoku as education minister, the provision of common chalk became a Herculean task. 38 cedis per student in their so-called progressive free SHS cumulated into colossal arrears. Training allowances also cancelled by Nana Opoku Ajiman. Thank God we saw how magical Dr. Baumia and Napo revived our education sector. This according to KBAC. And Mark watches from the US says, good evening, Paul. Very good analysis on JDM's presser. So far, the best information on the 24-hour economy policy was presented by Shabiba Muslim on Good Morning Ghana on Monday. Other NDC communicators should learn from that lady instead of put on lions for export. And now lastly, I don't know if this is read already, Miss Jerry says, Nkrumah started with so much wealth and little to no opposition left, and yet he left us in debt. He continues, I wonder what this generation would have said about Nkrumah if he was president now. Many projects credited to him were inherited from the colonial government. Well, I guess they wouldn't be able to speak against Nkrumah since it was disallowed then. Moving on, we also have from, a bit of a longer read here from Emmanuel Fosumensa. He says, I may disagree with Napo over his remarks on Kwame Nkrumah. Personally, though, he had his challenges. I think he was Ghana's best president. However, I will also not begrudge Napo when he makes such remarks. The fact that you think something is the best in your view doesn't automatically mean that everyone must see with you. There are other negative aspects of his government that we hardly talk about. And I'll cut this short and return to you, Paul, if you're ready.
All right. Thank you very much. We're going to have an interesting show tonight. And okay, it's break time. 5 minutes of break. When we come back, we start with SHS story, and then we move to the story about Nana Opoku, and then we talk about our friend Manasseh Azuri, and then there's a story of sports. Sports is coming from the European Championship, and they'll be here to tell us how only Watkins put the ball in. You know, I was watching the game yesterday with the children, and I said to them that at this stage, I think the Hurricane must be taken out for Oli Watkins to come. They had it, but they didn't. So after the game, one of them asked me, Daddy, how do you know that? I said, because I've been watching football before you were born. I've been watching football a long time ago, you know. But it was delightful for me. You know that I'm an England supporter, a fierce one. And it was totally delightful for me. And all the children around me were very, very excited that Oli Watkins, an African, a black British, had put the British in the first final outside the country of England. England has been to 2 finals in the major tournaments. World Cup 1966, which they won in England at Wembley, and Euro Championships 2020? Yes, 2020 Euro Championships, which they lost to Italy again at Wembley. This is the first time that the 3 Lions, as they call them now, have qualified for the grand final of an international tournament outside their home. They'll be playing in Berlin, and typically Germany is a good ground for England because one of the English most famous record of the 3 Lions is beating the German national team, the Kaiser, by 5-1, and it happened in Munich sometime in 2002. Michael Owen got a hat-trick that night. I watched that game in England with a few friends. It was a fantastic night. I remember that. So perhaps, just perhaps, Germany bodes well for good omen for England. Good luck to the 3 Lions on Sunday. And they will join me later on so that we can talk about all that. Now, though, viewers, I have to crave your indulgence. So take a short commercial break. I need to do this. When I come back, we're on the highway. It will be a lot of fiery stuff tonight. We'll see you. Stay tuned.
So what am I watching for Piana?
This is my secret. Give us P capsules. Pema, I want to go from now on to me to my din one pem. Give us P capsules. Over do as a mama. Or no, enemy lawyer.
And you will lawyer no na show bottom. Are you from? Then I found upon me see Baba Chiamwa as a Niji.
Bosano.
No. Ni de nefi waka wo. E friend give us cold capsules. Say yes is yare na wo so ko di di wo ni pedwem wani na wo posa amamman entimi ma wunja wo nan yi. Unum give us cold capsules ah. Obeye free.
Lawyer.
Give us cold capsules.
And I give us pea capsules.
Hey, and they give us free.
And men what if you do what you do cronkwan efa. Give us cold capsules. A painful a battle one more menu for an inquada when if you do me nunca.
Are you looking to own a prime piece of litigation-free land where you can put up your dream family home or your ideal getaway retreat within a luxurious estate? Then look no further. Welcome to Rehoboth Hills, where your dream of hassle-free land ownership comes to life. Acquire land devoid of multiple purchases, litigation, and land guard issues in a safe and secure gated community while enjoying the fabulous night view of Accra from the serene Ebri Mountains. Rehoboth Hills offers spacious plots that provide you with the ideal setting for your dream home and a valuable, safe investment for your future. The lands are located in the prime area of Ayarifa within our residential development Rehoboth Hills, overlooking the city of Accra and the Ebri Mountains. Our prices are very affordable and designed to fit your budget. We offer flexible payment terms, ensuring that you can invest in a valuable asset for the future. Contact us on 0244 764 499 or 0204-950-810 or visit our website at www.rehobothpropertiesgh.com. Rehoboth Properties, quality housing for all.
Ghana for Mama Dado yo. Me the dear Jana va. Dado spices are wood running in every Jackson. And you never know yeah.
If we come your job, we no use dead spices. We don't go job. If I don't feel
Paste the inside. Yeah, the natural spices, Papa na yeah.
Noodles unaveza. Everywhere you go, dead spices.
Just the
one. No more dead spices. Aji baby,
Black, tasting a chicken.
Kaji, go. But dead spices here what Jenny say. Nanya good taste. If we say yeah the natural spices and yeah Ghana hey yao. Ani you want all purpose stew, noodles, curry and nutmeg and a jollof. Dead spices. Taste yummy. Taste lemon. Dead spices. Taste day inside. FDIG a jedi in kratoya too.
Herbal Hospital. Specialists in every kind of bone disease.
Herbal Hospital. Baby, a summer will be and so Yari me sapa a don't yari.
Spinal cord, swelling of the arms, arthritis, bone injury, swelling of the leg with reddish color around it, and so on. See, Herbal Hospital has special ultra-modern machine for checking up the body. I have tried them and I got good results. Try Herbal Hospital.
Bet, blast, boom! Exclusively on Betway. Win up to 300% more when you play FlyX with Win Boost from Betway. Betway, get way more.
Yes.
Star 712.
Which are this? Kwame A. Yeah, and now you were back in Greece. To say why you fit a millionaire. Yes, the luckiest at Aroma. To say about from Manasseh Azuri. Yeah. Now check this. Sister Abna, aka Kogi Hima. The luckiest at Aroma. Queen B.
Yeah.
Boss lady Bakupe. Hold on to your seats, folks. Such anyway, it'll be you smooth. Way and your friend will upgrade. Luckiest Adaroma. And the best part that with the luckiest will be our shot to a good life. And I'm talking to you, me, your girlfriend, your ex, your neighbors, your landlords, and even Goro boys. And no one is over dialing with lucky number. Star 712 hash. Now the
Coswato ticket to win in the community draw or the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
Choice is for Mr. Baumia. It can't be wrong if it is his choice. So let that be clear. And then 2 is whether we like the choice or not is irrelevant. The issue therefore should be whether in the scheme of things, politics is strategy, it is calculation. So it is not about whether even he likes him or not. It is about whether in the calculation he made the right choice to achieve his goal. I think he hit it spot on. Everybody can talk. Have you ever come across a choice like this, which people didn't have anything to say about? So everybody can talk, and the irony is that the people who he's campaigning against are the ones trying to advise him. As in, they are saying, oh, this man is not good for you, you should have picked the other person. In other words, if you pick this man, then you are going to lose. So pick the other person so you can win against us. Clearly doesn't, wash. So let those fundamentals be clear. Then you have what is being said everywhere. Napo is arrogant. You know something? I think that's not so much a negative. If you have a person like Napo who has been in the limelight, in the politics of Bantama and MPP, been at the forefront for decades, been in some of the most controversial ministries, education, recently energy, and when he is elevated to the highest political position he's ever occupied, all people have to say about him is that he's arrogant. Maybe you will see the positive I'm talking about.
They say more, but the arrogance tag resonates.
The point.
Which I suppose you agree with me.
Oh no, hold on. Look, in Ghana, arrogance is a term of art. It does not mean what it means in the dictionary. In Ghana, arrogant also means too known. You heard that before?
Yep.
Those of us who work in think tanks, who do analysis, who talk on radio, we hear that every day. In Ghana, arrogant means you are articulate. You know how to string your thoughts. You know how to make an argument. That's what arrogant means. In Ghana, arrogant means you're assertive. It means you know what you want and you push for it and you insist on it. In Ghana, they'll call you arrogant, they'll call you too low. In Ghana, arrogant means...
Okay, we're back. It's not a good time to be back. It is a good time to be back. All the time. It's past 10 there. We're going to run through it very quickly. So, because of the production issues, we have shifted Nana Poku's story to story number 3 because we are putting some videos together. By the time we finish, we would like to explain it well. You know, our research is usually the depth of our research is significant because we have a lot of young people who are looking at it. So just as we're about to start, somebody brought something and said that it's better if we change this and put this here to make people understand it better. Our objective always is to make sure that people understand what we're saying. Our objective is not so much that they agree with us because we think that our argument is compelling enough for you to agree. But the first thing that we concern ourselves with is whether you understand what we are saying or not, whether we have communicated. That's always the important thing. So if we need a video, we need a graphics, we need a screenshot that will enhance the communication capacity of our narrative. We will always do it before we bring it to you. So it's being done. It will come soon. Let's go to the touch screen now. Begin our rollout for tonight with the story from KJTR Market Preachers. Manasseh Azuri, following the, you know, there are some people that when something happens, they feel obliged to talk about it. They have to say something about it. Because Manasseh is quite doing his work in America and there. He saw the Napo thing. He saw everybody talking about it. He feels that he has to talk about it some. So he took his pen and then the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will always speak. When we type, is our mouth that is speaking or is our heart that's speaking? I don't know. You decide. But I don't know why everybody needed to say something about what Napo said. Of course, his political opponents, for them it was fodder. Hey, the guy has insulted Kwame Nkrumah. It's okay. That's allowed. It's very, very allowed. Okay. But why must every journalist sitting, every blogger sitting feel that he has to say something about it? That's a trap that Manasseh entrapped himself with. It's a trap of megalomania. When you think that you are very, very important, then when something is going on and you haven't said anything about it, you think you say something about it because you are the end all and be all of the narrative and the analysis. That's the megalomania in his head. That's what he was thinking. Then he came to write something out of his heart, insulting the people, that they are nonsense people. This is what he said. And he started by presenting himself as some professional of sorts, as some academic professional. I think because he's been hanging out with Professor Kwame A quite a bit, I think he's beginning to feel that he's also a master of the School of Communication Studies at the University of Ghana. I think the megalomania is eating him up because he's been spending quite a bit of time with Kwame A, who no doubt is a colossus at this communication business. And because Kwame A has been spending time with Manasseh or vice versa, Manasseh is beginning to think that he too is. So look at how he said, as a student of communication studies, I don't know what that means. He says that because he's a student of communication studies, what he saw was more of a Kejetia market preacher than that of a running mate. Now, I come back to communication studies. I come back to it. What's in communication studies suggests that when a political communicator is speaking to his base, that he shouldn't be like a Kejetia market preacher. In fact, that is correct, proper communication. I don't know what they've been learning, but they put their degrees on their shoulders as a communication something. Let me say it again. In the most successful political communicator is that communicator who is able to communicate with different demographics and let each demographic feel that he's talking to them. That's the essence of a successful political communicator. Successful political communication is multidimensional. It suggests that this political communicator is communicating to social stratification A. He communicates differently to social stratification B, C, and D. And in each of the instances, this political communicator is able to communicate to the particular social stratification or the particular group of people for them to feel confident and satisfied that he is speaking our language. That is the essence of political communication. So in fact, when Nana Poku stood before the party faithfuls, and he was not addressing the entire nation as such, when he stood before the political faithfuls in the heart of Ashanti region, in the heart of Infantine Newtown, in the heart of Bantama, he needed to speak like a Kejetia market preacher. That's the point. That is communication, not what he's talking about. That he didn't speak like a vice president, like a running mate. How do running mates speak? You see the bereftness of their ideas. How do running mates speak? Running mates speak only determined by who they are speaking to. That is a successful political communicator as a running mate. When he speaks, it depends on who he's speaking to. So when Nana Poku comes to address the Royal College of Physicians, of which he's a proud member, he will wear a bow tie, he will wear the thing they put in their neck as Royal College, and he will say that, Your Majesty, Prince of Wales, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of Parliament, all protocol observed. It gives me great pleasure, Your Majesty. That's how he'll say it. That is Nana Poku. When Nana Poku comes to Bantama, he has to take off the bow tie, take off the white shirt and the black suit, wear a shirt, and start talking like a Kejetia market preacher. That is the way that the politician, whether he's running mate or whether he's president, that is the way that he ought to communicate. But if you think you have megalomania, you think that you know everything when you know nothing, if you think that you are some paragon of intellectual knowledge when there's nothing in your head, this is what you come and tell the general public, that because you're a student of communication, what you saw is below the communication level of a running mate. How dare you say that? And you choose to select so some people you call Kejetia market preacher. You see how they are? These are the people who say that they are humble. This Manasseh. These are the people who wear the tag of I am humble, I am humble. Out of the abundance of their hearts, the Bible says, the mouth will speak. They pretend they are humble, but they are full of hatred and conceitedness. That's who they are. That's what he's shown here. Now he's apologizing. I'll read his apology to you. You see how funny it is. That is who they are. That's the hypocrisy of this country and many other parts, and the hypocrisy of journalism. These people who say they are humble, they are humble, they have megalomania. Every time they have to say something, look at what he wrote, that because he is a student of communication, who is teaching him the communication? They are not teaching him well, oh, because what he said is a communication faux pas. What Manasseh wrote here is a communication faux pas, that the communication of KJT market preachers is below the level of a running mate. Who told you that? I mean, but you see, when I talk about these people, sometimes some people don't like me, or some people get frustrated that, oh, you too. But today you have seen it. I didn't put his laptop to write it. He wrote it. It came from Manasseh's mouth. That Napo's body language was more of a KJT market preacher. That's what he said. Yo, let's move on. We have a lot to discuss today. TJ Baba Anyas, you were perfect on point. You taught Manasseh communication. This man has not even laid any claim to any communication studies. He's a regular social media person. He has not laid claim to any communication studies. Listen to the wisdom that he told Manasseh. Listen to the wisdom that Baba Anyas, TJ, listen to the wisdom he told Manasseh. He said, my brother Manasseh, fortunately for us in the MPP, it is the KJT market traders who will be voting. And we are particularly excited seeing him, Napo, speaking their language. Thank you. Please put it on the TV. Let's read it. He said, my brother Manasseh, fortunately for us in the MPP, it is the KJT market traders who will be voting. And we are particularly excited seeing him speak their language. This man is now teaching Manasseh communication. Because when you appear before the KJT market preachers, the KJT traders, you have to speak their language. That will be successful communication. What Manasseh is referring to as a negative communication is actually correct communication in the context of what Nana Poku was doing. But this is who they are. They are full of themselves, megalomania in their head. They think that they are some big person. Delusions of self-grandeur. That's where it takes you. The Bible says that those people who think that they are big, they should be careful because disgrace is coming. The Bible said it. Those who think that of themselves and upon their shoulders, they are some big, important people, they should be careful. Because they don't read their Bible, pride is in their hearts. The pride is in their heart, and it oozes out this way. KJT market preachers. If you even wrote preachers, didn't it occur to you that, hey, am I talking about God's people like that? KJT market preachers, they are Sankwas people. They are speaking the word of God. They are getting people salvation. There's no better thing for any human being to do on earth than to save one soul to heaven. If by KJT market preaching, they are saving one soul every year, even if that's a soul, they have done something that heaven will rejoice. The Bible says that when one soul turns to heaven, the entire heaven rejoices. Manasseh Azuri is denigrating people who are preaching the word of God because they speak in Chi. They are KJT market preachers. This is the humility man. Him and Suleiman Brahma, I will always add the two of them. He and Suleiman Brahma, they are the humility people. Kwame Kaikai's children, the humility people. You see what he wrote? These are the people who are celebrated. They get award in Uganda, get award everywhere. This is the journalism, that communication studies. Please, Odrigajepo, they are denigrating the thing. They said that communication, he doesn't even understand the communication. They don't understand it. He doesn't understand it, and he thinks he understands it because he has a pen and he can write. The producer is telling me to hurry up. Okay, let me hurry up. Now, this is Manasseh's apology. Please, viewers, let's go through it small by small by small. He says, it's here, great. He says, in my previous post, my intention was not to demean KJT preachers or any group of persons. I observed that the MPP's running mate delivered his speech in the manner market preachers speak. Yes, but you said that the manner in which market preachers speak is below the level of a running mate. Manasseh, that's what you said. So add it. Don't come and be doing sophistry. That's what they call it. Don't be doing sophistry here. This is sophistry. You are taking things out. You said that the KJTR market people, they are not at the level of the running mate. Let's move on. In his speech in the, he says the way the market preachers speak. In fact, Manasseh goes on, KJTR came to mind because of where the program was held. But that should even tell you that you don't understand communication, Manasseh. You don't understand communication. Because if you say that KJTR is where the thing happened, then when you are communicating and KJTR means something, KJTR represents a certain culture. KJTR has projected a certain communication culture. And so if you are speaking at KJTR, you imbibe the communication culture of KJTR. When you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. That's successful communication. The one you are advocating is a communications faux pas. He says, in fact, KJTR came to mind because of where the program was held. But I could have used Kanishi or Makola, and the meaning would still have been the same, without intending to offend any group of people. To the extent that some people are hurt by the mention of KJTR and understand it to be an attack on some particular group of people, I unreservedly apologize to anyone who is offended, especially KJTR market preachers. It is not in my nature to denigrate any group of people. Please spare us that one. The Bible says what is in your heart is what you've done. Spare us those things. It's not in your nature to do what? What is in your nature is what you have put on the thing. Didn't the Bible, you think why did the Bible caution us? The Bible knew that people like Manasseh will come and say things around. So the Bible is saying, don't listen. Out of the abundance of his heart, his mouth has spoken. What is not in you? Which nature? How do we know your nature? Shakespeare said there's no art, there's no construction of the face to, what did he say? There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. So what is in you is what you've put out. Why are you coming to tell us what is not your nature? Act your nature and don't act your opposite nature, and we will know what your nature is. Why are you coming to tell what is not in what your nature? Please, if you're apologizing, my uncle Yadonko, I've told him that you said you are sorry. He's fine. Don't come and add insult to injury. Write your apology properly and let sleeping dogs lie. We all do mistakes. We all make mistakes. To err is human, and then we go on. Don't come and tell us it is not in your nature. It's not in what your nature. It is your nature. You are an arrogant, rude man, and you are proud. That is your nature. That's what you have shown. Go and repent and stop coming to tell us it's not which. You are a proud man. It is in your face. You hide it and then pretend that you are humble. That is what has been exposed today. You are a very proud man. You think that you are a better human being than KJTR market preacher. You, Manasseh, you think you're a better human being than KJTR market preacher. So when Matthew Poku Prempeh, the distinguished member of the Royal College of Surgeons, is speaking that way, you think that he's bringing his standard low to KJTR market preachers. He should raise his standard to a running mate. Running mate standard is not KJTR market preachers. That is arrogance of the highest order. Looking down on people. It is not good at all. God doesn't like that. Looking down on other people because of what they do. Looking down on people because of what they do. I've been fighting that forever. When I go somewhere, hey, you journalist, hey, don't bring that, you journalist, stay here, please. Anyway. Oh, no, not yet. I'm not done. Please, I'm not done. Let's get back to Manasseh and finish with him. Because he has apologized. We have to accept the apology and then move on, you know. So I'm done. So Manasseh, your apology is accepted, at least by my uncle Yadonko, because I've told him in Tick Room this evening that offer Abrante na Ocho Side or say Wafu from so inti Yejai. And as for to err is human. So if he has apologized, that's the end of the story. But I'm just bringing this to viewers, for viewers to understand sometimes these kind of people that we are dealing with, one, they don't even understand communication. They think they understand it because they are megalomania. They look down on people. They think that some people should be looked down upon, but they pretend that they are humble. They're always holding this humble look, a humble face, a humble, and these are the things they write. Now he's apologizing. In his apology, he said Napo has done something. Please put the apology back. Let me finish. I'll finish. Producer, don't worry. I'll finish. Don't worry. Today is Thursday, so chill out. He said that, especially KJTR market preachers, it is not in my nature to denigrate any group of people, not even Napo. What does not even Napo mean? What English is he writing? He said, it is not in my nature to, not even. Please go back to your class 3 construction teacher and go and learn your English well. What is he writing? Do you know what you've written? And I said, not even. Do you know what that means? Where is the literature? Did he go and find literature and read? Look at what he's written. He says, it is not in my nature to denigrate any group of people. Full stop, we understand that. He says, not even Napo. Hey, English people, explain to him what he has written. What he's written, does he understand it? Napo, please, we are sorry. He says not even Napo. Whose, now he's referring to what Napo has done with him. Whose respectful gesture towards me was the subject of my article this Monday. I am sorry. So the man, Manasseh, is telling us that Napo made a respectful gesture towards him. Manasseh is the reason why you can say Napo is not arrogant. Because Manasseh here says that Napo he describes it as respectful. A respectful gesture. Of course, Napo knows that Manasseh is not supporting the ticket that he's on. He knows it. He knows it. Everybody knows that. And that's okay. That's fair. We all cannot support the same thing. That's allowed. But whilst Napo knows that, I don't know what happened. I don't know what they've done together. But Manasseh is the one telling us that this week, Napo has done some respectful gesture towards him. Respectful is the word he uses to describe it. And then you come and say that it's a KJT market. He says he's sorry. It's okay. It's okay. Manasseh, you are sorry. It's okay. Sorry means sorry. We are done. No problem. Everything ended. Should we find some song to play for him? Okay, let's move to A+. Roll it out. Roll it out. Let me grab my phone. Sorry, viewers. I'm back here. Or do we have some messages on this one? If you have some messages, let's do some on 2B then. We'll come and deal with A+. We have to do A+ in 10 minutes and then get to the big story of Kwame Nkrumah and the development of Ghana. All right, who shall I start with? 2 messages each, please. We have to answer by again.
Right, so from Daniel. Hi, Paul. I feel there's a certain missing link eroding our country of the truth about our history, right from the days of the pre-colonial era until today. I feel there must be the big history debate to bring our country to peace on the issues of misalignment in our country's development. We will be glad as youth if you could put your team together to organize such a debate. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Also, we have messages from Solomon Johnson and Yada Naya, both saying it is possible. Antoinette?
Yes, so Theophilus Diane doesn't agree with Paul. He says market preachers, Paul, they actually preach for the money and not to save souls at all. So please stop talking about heaven rejoicing. Now, Osei Frimpong says, what has Napo actually done wrong here to warrant all the unnecessary noises the atmosphere has been polluted with? Has the UP tradition ever been in tandem with Nkrumah's CPP? I strongly suggest the NDC from this moment must change their names to the CPP now, per their firm defense of CPP Nkrumah, or is it just that they have countless free time on their hands? Napo is not leading a missionary campaign, but a political campaign. Our vice presidential candidates can't be gagged. Can't we practice politics anymore for the sake of sentimental bruises? Lastly, Kofi Nzagi says that the late John Kuma would have been a better running mate for Bawumia because it seems Matthew Opoku Prempeh is all over the place and news is all over him for being selected. Now to you, Angela.
Akwasi watching us in Kumasi says, Napo was standing on an NLM UP political campaign platform. What were you expecting him to say about Kwame Nkrumah? With all that Nkrumah did to annihilate them, Nkrumah cannot be his in quotes, Kwame Nkrumah. This is according to Akwesi watching us from Kumasi. Moving on, Lord from London says, Apostle Paul, please get Miracles Abaji into your studios to come explain issues. Okay, we'll see about that. And Ben from watching us from Tablet says, yes, Napo's statement might be needless given the timing. Whatever, it's not. I think it means say, however, it's not because he degraded Nkrumah, but because it's a kind of supposed and apparent advantage to a party. Nkrumah was spoken of as an individual. He has been bastardized for long, and it's not today. Fifi Kwete insulted a whole conglomerate of huge tribes in northern Ghana, and media cabals decided to be mute because it will harm a party. Nkrumah isn't more important than the northern tribes. A certain president said Nkrumah may give Ghana only a flag and anthem. This according to Ahmed from Tamale. Lastly, Nana Kofi says, those who are crucifying Dr. Napo, may I ask, when Nkrumah became president, what was Ghana's population, internal/external debt as compared to Nana Addo? Just asking. Paul.
All right, we'll get there. We'll get to the Nkrumah conversation. I'm very interested in that. I have also been berated before that I don't like Kwame Nkrumah and this and that and all that. Akufo-Addo has been saying he doesn't like Kwame Nkrumah, all that. But he set up the Kwame Nkrumah Museum, hasn't he? It's been well done. Okay, let's get to this story, and I'm hoping I can do it in 10 minutes, so keep timing me correctly. The other day, I was on social media and I saw it, and then people started sending it to me. So Kwame A Plus, our friend, the independent candidate that we're all supporting, he says, this is the first automobile. It is only an illiterate or someone whose brain is kitty, like something I don't want to repeat, that will argue that because it didn't include air condition, headlamps, music player, massaging seats, etc., it was not the first automobile. The man in the photo introduced free SHS, though it didn't include boarding. Did the first mobile phone have a camera? Wasn't it the first mobile phone? Okay, correct. Let's go to the Rice Brothers, please. The Rice Brothers. Then I'll come back to this one. But let's go to the Rice Brothers very quickly if you can. Okay. This is the photograph of the aeroplane that the Rice Brothers put together. It's very similar to the argument that Kwame A Plus is making. I'll come back to it. And Kwame A Plus did not tell us the name of the manufacturer of the first automobile, but it's okay. We can still use it. The name of the manufacturer of the first aircraft is Oliver and somebody. I've forgotten the other person. Oliver and... I can't hear what you're saying. Oval. Okay. Oliver and Oval Wright. The Wright brothers. This is the aircraft. This aircraft, if you use it today, they will use tie. Please, do you remember tie? I'll stretch my tie, I'll hit him, I'll kill him. But this was the first aircraft. And the Rice brothers secured the patent for aeroplane. And they had it for 50, 60, 70 years or so. And they were paid for it under copyright rules, okay? So these are the Rice brothers, fantastic people. They gave us the first plane. Let's get back to the A plus one, and let me share with you why they may be wrong. Okay, so correct, thank you. This is the first automobile. Now, we are talking free SHS. Kwame A Plus's argument is that it was John Mahama who started it. So the fact that the form in which John Mahama's free SHS was is not the same as the form in which Akufo-Addo's free SHS is, then it doesn't mean that John Mahama didn't start it. The forms may be different, and that's the point he's making here. This is a car. If you put a modern car here, it may not look exactly like this, but you see the wheels. And so the originator of the car is this one. I think that argument is correct. Same as the Wright brothers. All right. Now, here's the caveat. John Mahama started free SHS, as he says today. Fair enough. He said he started with day students. There was nothing free about what John Mahama did. What he did was that day students were not paying tuition fee. Tuition fee constituted about 40% of the payment of day students. So the rest of the 60% was paid. So it was not free. It was a reduction of fees. NDC people, please don't get angry with me. Just listen. It was a reduction of fees. That's the matter of fact. And here on this program, everything we have said from beginning to end 100 years ago is factual. That's why they only have to come on Facebook and say, you're a stupid boy, you are a stomach journalist, you're a fool. They don't say that what you said is wrong, because you cannot say that. We do fidelity to the research, so you can't say what we are saying is wrong. And we have documents to show. The fact of what John Dramani Mahama did was to reduce the fees. He didn't cancel it. That's the difference. I've not even come to this one. I'll come to that. What John Mahama did was to reduce the fees, not to cancel. And they have the effrontery to call that free. If a person is paying 100 cedis and you say, don't pay 100, pay 60 cedis, is that free SHS? Anyway, to A plus now. Now, Kwame A plus. If the manufacturer of this car was told that, look, forget about this, your car. We can do another car that has 4 doors, 4 tires, air conditioning, and the manufacturer of this car said to them that what you are talking about is not possible. This is how far you can go. You cannot do the car that you are saying. If the manufacturer told them this is not possible, then when it becomes possible, this guy cannot claim that it started from him. That is the moral of the story. That is the moral of the story. That's not what you are talking about. These are the details, and I'm going to go further into it. Again, if the one who manufactured this car was told when he manufactured this one that this is not correct, this is not the automobile we are looking for, Now, this one, the BMW here, the Mercedes here, the Datsun 120Y, it has covered, it has wipers, it has air conditioning, it has radio. That's the one we are looking for. And the guy who did it said that, are you people crazy? This is not possible. This can never be done. When it is done, he cannot claim it. That is the point of the moral, ethical, and the manufacturing sense that we are talking about. He cannot claim it. The Wright brothers can claim the aircrafts because when they did their aircrafts, they were there and other people manufactured it. They said, glory be to God. The guy who did the first mobile phone that was big like this in 1974, he manufactured it, he went back, other people changed it, glory to God. But if you do this and you tell us that it is not possible to go beyond this, you say it loudly to the whole world. You don't say it in your head. You tell everybody that this is not possible. That you say you change the car from this, that is all lie, belie. And you tell us that you want to change this car. We cannot change the car on the whimsical promise of a desperate politician. And then I'll play to you some judge. He says this car, you want to do a new one so that it gives students meningitis. Free SHS is the most useless thing. Free SHS is the most useless thing. Free SHS cannot work. They went into a studio and produced an advert about free SHS. That it cannot work. I'll show it to you now. When they have done that, they cannot come and claim that because they did this car, free SHS originated from them. That's a false claim. And any intelligent, Kwame A plus insults all of us that our mind is kitty kitty. That is why we don't understand it. Really, our mind is kitty kitty. Our mind is kitty kitty. Kwame A plus mind is big. Our mind is kitty kitty. Yo yati, no problem. But this is the analysis. This is the analysis. Now let's move on. What is next? Let's go to talk about John Mahama. The thing I told you first. Let's see the first video. Please, let's run through the videos quickly. Here is President Mahama, and I've showed it to you already. Campaigning in 2016, as the man in charge of the government, free SHS is burning on the front burner in the campaign. Everybody is talking about free SHS. The opposition is pounding free SHS. The man who claims that he originated free SHS, this is what he said.
Saying that Ghana must not introduce free SHS on the whimsical promise of a desperate politician. Many mistakes have been made by countries in Africa already with free SHS. Saying that Ghana must not introduce free SHS on the whimsical promise of a desperate politician. Many mistakes have been made by countries in Africa already with free SHS, saying
many mistakes have been made with Africa already, and that we shall not introduce that. Okay, so that was 2016. We can forgive President Mahama for that. You see, if this campaign, this NDC campaign was being run by some other person for the NDC other than President Mahama, that person could have been saying that, oh, it was President Mahama who started free SHS. And then we'll be telling him that, no, President Mahama didn't start it. But this is President Mahama himself who said that. Okay, so that's what he said. You saw that. That was in 2016 when he was president. Now, I'm going to show you what he said in 2020. Now, after 2016, free SHS was introduced in 2017 by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. 2017, 2018, 2019, free SHS was run. Parliament received the documentation on how much money has been spent on free SHS. It appeared in those days, by 2020's election, 2 billion cedis had been spent on free SHS. During the 2020 campaign, when President Mahama launched his first bid post his presidency to become president of Ghana again, this is what he said. Once again, free SHS animated that campaign from 2012 up to 2020. Free SHS has animated every campaign and is starting again. I'll tell you why it has become a big part of 2024. This is what President Mahama said in 2020 when he was not president and when free SHS had already started. This is what he said.
$2 billion cities for free SHS for this academic year. If you have 2 billion more to spend on education, will you spend all of it on free SHS? 2 billion cities for free SHS for this academic year. If you have 2 billion more to spend on education, will you spend all of it on free SHS?
So when President Mahama was not president and free SHS had started, he actually said that he will not spend 2 billion on free SHS. And then after all that, President Mahama comes and tells us that he started it. Why is he saying that? I'll show you. I'll tell you why. But in a moment, let's go and look at the NDC advertisement. Now, this was an advert that NDC put out in 2016. They put an advert together and put it out against free SHS. But today, they are telling us that they started free SHS. And Kwame A Plus says that all of us, our mind is kitty. We are not sensible. So we don't even understand the analogy. He doesn't name the person who started the first car anyway. He doesn't name him. But he says that even when he has presented a thesis with gaps in it without naming the person, he says our mind is kitty. He's a big brain. It's very, that thing he said, they pay me, pa. Charlie, viewers, when we were in Presec, the way we used to learn, pa, Charlie, we took it to BAM Library. We've been learning, sir. A Plus said that our mind is kitty. Oh, God. Charlie, oh, my guys, Benque, where are you? Charlie, you remember how we used to learn? Charlie will take Plato, we'll read it, Aristotle will be reciting it on the Commonwealth platform. The Commonwealth verandas will be reciting Plato and Aristotle. We'll be reading cases. A Plus said that all the work we did is our mind is kitty because we don't understand that President Mahama brought free SHS. So because we are arguing that President Mahama didn't bring free SHS, A Plus said that all the work we did in Presec is useless. Our mind is kitty. That one is painful because Charlie, we work though. Charlie, the learning, we learned brutal. God bless the Presec teachers. God bless the legal people. Oh no, we learned at BAM Library. We cracked the thing. But A Plus says, all that is, Charlie, we've learned into a philosophy of religion. We learned classics, Roman history. A Plus says, oh, that is nonsense because we don't understand that President Mahama brought free SHS. So our mind is kitty. All the learning we learn is useless. He is very clever because he can show that John Mahama brought free SHS, so he is clever. Yo, Yati. Okay, let's watch the advert that NDC put together. Let's see it.
Let me first match you. Yeah, I mean, please see me ice cream and me better. If I try to pray, woman is fair. You need enough classrooms, you need enough dormitories, you need enough teachers, you need enough science resources. To me, part show. It's me,
Headmistress, but all kind of sad, I mean, you. Free senior high school, I have one the road TV so radio see. And they said, you're okay, better than your my sweating up.
Ghana, man. Associate here, and Sana idea fata. Or my Ghana, ever die SHS free. While Brian near my among women, Edimu.
Paying for say. Summer had a pin, I know the queen. So, only Valanda, a better with me. I feel wait here.
Wait till I have to on my Ghana. Now, yes, I at Tumoko. Some of Tumaba and Farmer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and then the NDC. Now, I'm on to a better Ghana agenda. There is a better Ghana agenda. Every so ACC dormitories, classroom blocks, dining halls, science resource centers, computer laboratories, and then you have to come one among women here at Timu.
I don't have much to say. This is 2016's advert. NDC mounted a narrative and a propaganda to frustrate the free SHS campaign. Today, they say they launched it. Now, let me tell you why. Producer, forget about the Sam George and the Fifi Kwete window. We'll just go back to A Plus's post. So, because we don't have time. All right. So, NDC say that they brought free SHS after they sponsored commercials on television, political commercials, to say that free SHS is not possible, it's not, you can't do it. Kwame A saying, Pacho, somehow kind of, and you see a bonbon there. I destroy you see Presec pa and grow. Say Nina a bond and you say what were you in the episode? One can you cry, or the way are down for tea. You fancy why you shall zoom like or near dinkum or why. Now, we say a bon dear. They are born saying, oh, Kwame A Plus. I'm born you, yes, you and you. A bibintia, why? Bibintia, maybe a woman, why? But this one day, you see, Kwame, good night. All right, I'll come to Kwame A Plus's final post. So, this was the NDC's advert. Now, so this is A Plus here in the first post saying, this is the first automobile. It is only an illiterate. Hey, Kwame A Plus. We are all illiterate. Hey, yo. It is only an illiterate or someone whose brain is kitty that will argue that because it didn't include air condition, headlamps, music player, massaging, that it was not the first automobile. The man in the photo introduced free SHS, though it didn't include boarding. Did the first mobile phone have a camera? And NDC people started liking it. 13,000 likes. Okay, let's go back to Kwame A Plus's post in 2017. Give it to me. Kwame A plus. He had a post in 2017. He himself. Great. This is Kwame A plus on 1st September 2017. This is the same Kwame A plus. He says it's here. Internet doesn't lie, and internet doesn't forget. A plus, he says it's here. That's what he said. It's here. Free SHS. Akufo-Addo says, I want every Ghanaian child to attend secondary school, not just for what they learn in books, but for the life experiences that they will gain. President Akufo-Addo in launching the Free SHS campaign, endorsed by Kwame A plus on 1st September 2017. He said, it is here. This is A plus, so this is not me. Let me make it bigger, small, so that you can see it. Kwame, it's saying, wow, what's new? Who said it is here? Why now can I say it is here? That Akufo-Addo has launched Free SHS. But today, Kwame, you are telling us that we are all blockheaded because we can't understand that it was John Mahama who brought Free SHS. This is my story. This is my stone. Text messages, give me 11111, and then I'm switching straight to Jubilee Park, Matthew Opoku Prempes matter. Please, give me some text messages. Who is starting? Anziba, you first.
John should have campaigned on his version of Free SHS in 2016. He rather chose to run counter-campaign on Free SHS policy.
Come back to me. I have one thing to say. One thing. Viewers, okay. I was making a point that there's a reason why the Free SHS is coming up. Let me tell you that very quickly. So information has come to us that the NDC had conducted research, and they need to do that. I applaud them for that. They have conducted research across the country asking Ghanaians that of the 8 years of Akufo-Addo's government, which are the developments and the promises that people are holding on to. The verdict came to Fifi Kwete's table that 2,000% Ghanaians are excited about Free SHS, and they believe it is Akufo-Addo's policy, and they believe MPP will continue Free SHS. They are not too sure whether NDC will continue. Then they asked them, one district, one factory, that's 50-50. One village, one dam, 50-50. Free SHS, 100%. Or the research told them that the Free SHS is good, people like it, they love it, and they attribute it to Akufo-Addo. They believe that if MPP wins 2024, Free SHS should be taken for granted. They are not so sure whether if NDC wins it to continue. It is this research on Fifi Kwete's table that has gone to President Mahama that has animated this conversation. And that is the modern day politician for you. When they get the research, then they now have to put themselves into it by force. So Kwame A plus, maybe you know, maybe you don't know. This is the reason. They have conducted a research, and the research is telling them that Free SHS, Ghanaians believe in it, they love it, and they are sure that with an MPP victory in 2024, Free SHS will continue. And they are also sure that with an MPP defeat in 2024, they don't know whether Free SHS will continue. So the NDC were told that, Charlie, if you don't take a position on this Free SHS, it can cost you the election. Now, back to the prophet J.J. Rawlings. He told John Mahama that if you don't do something about Free SHS in 2013, it will be a problem for NDC in many election cycles to come. Rawlings told him that if you don't do something about, Rawlings told him that you won the election, but Free SHS won the campaign of 2012. You won the election, but the policy won the campaign. If you don't implement that policy, for many elections to come, NDC will have to fight it, because the day MPP come and they implement it, we are in trouble. For many election cycles, NDC will have to answer the question. It is Rawlings' word that has come. They should take a stone, go to Nana Kunedu's house at Ridge or at Ajringano, knock the door. Fifi Kwete, go and, you said all lie be lie. Free SHS all lie. Go and knock Nana Kunedu's door and say that your husband has passed, but please, this is your stone. This is what he told us, and it has come to pass. That's what they should be doing. Anziba, continue.
From Kwame A. John should have campaigned on his version of Free SHS in 2016. He rather chose to run a counter-campaign on the Free SHS policy of Nanadu. From A plus analogy on Free SHS then, he should stop presenting himself as an independent candidate of his constituency. And lastly, from Maxwell Entry, social media never forgets. John Mahama, you see your videos talking against Free SHS. It will come back to you. Antoinette, what do you have first?
Right. So, Sir Allow Richard Bonsu says, Honorable Paul, another argument actually is who conceived the Free SHS idea. So, you steal someone's idea to implement his ideas and visions, it still means you aren't the originator, and so you cannot be given the credit. Before the Wright brothers, there was nothing like aeroplane, and there was no automobile before the first invention, which is why Nana Addo cannot be the originator of the free SHS idea. This is what Richard Bonsu thinks. Now to what Raymond Adjorima thinks, he said, Brother Paul, thank you for making fidelity to the free senior high school policy. It's unfortunate that John Mahama and the NDC are claiming credit for it, when in fact it was their policy to rob the people of Ghana of Nana's vision which he had for the country. When I returned home from work during JM's era, I had to turn off my phone during school reopening seasons because I couldn't afford to reject my family and friends' request for school fees during JM's tenure as the president of Ghana. How can John Mahama make such a false claim? God bless Nana Addo and Dr. Bawumia for their genuine leadership. Now, Dennis Oponyobo says if free SHS was already in existence, why then would Mahama say in 2016 that we should not, and he writes this in capitals, introduce free SHS under the whimsical promise of a desperate politician? Now, people are giving Paul his flowers for their submission on the analysis of the story. He said, Dominic Asamoah, he says, excellent submission on the free SHS subject. Mahama and the NDC always seem to be contradicting themselves. And lastly, we have Fifi Benji. He says, Paul, the word we should be focusing on is progressive. Progressive is the word John Mahama used and not free SHS. Over to you, Angelo.
Nana Kwesi watching us from Kumasi says, good evening, Sir Paul. I was surprised when President Mahama said he brought the free SHS and no one opposed it during the media press last Sunday. Sir, if a pressman raised his hand and said, Sir, you didn't bring free SHS, would that be disrespectful, he asks. Please let's tell the former president to stick to his 24-hour economy and let Nana Addo enjoy his fans on his free SHS. Thanks. Now we've got a screenshot of an article, the headline being John Mahama is greater than Kwame Nkrumah in achievements. This was reportedly said by Joseph Yamin. I wonder what this person is trying to say with this. And lastly, Albert watching us from Accra, Utah says, Paul, A+ isn't highly educated enough to tell us who started free SHS. Besides, he A+ is... Hey, I can't read the rest of this. Paul, back to you.
Sorry, viewers, I went to the back. I was following up on the editing work. We are nearly done. It's going to come soon. So he should text you signal me when he goes, and then we start. Okay, so viewers, this is we are now on the main story. Nana Poku here and Dr. Bawumia here. So the story is told about maybe we should take the video. While speaking at the Kejeta Market preaching compound, Nana Poku said that President Akufo-Addo has developed Ghana, has worked harder for Ghana more than any other president. In real translation, this is what he said. Translating to English, proper way. If you understand Chi and you understand English, and I'll play the video. This is what he said. Akufo-Addo has developed Ghana more than any other president. Forget Kwame Nkrumah. That's what he said. He said, Akufo-Addo, why you do my Ghana? Say, Kwame Nkrumah no. That's what he said. That forget Kwame Nkrumah, suggesting that Akufo-Addo had done better than Nkrumah, which got all hell to break loose. So let's look at the video now. And then, oh, they don't have the video. They are looking for it. Okay, all right. It's 8 minutes at the top of the hour. And producer, I'm looking for the Napo video. I told you that we'll use it independently. It's in the documentary, but we'll use it independently. So they are still looking for the video. So that's what he said. Now, for our money, I think that where I can fault Nana Poku for is that, yes, he was speaking to his faithfuls. He was speaking on an NLM platform, on a UP platform. But I want to suggest that his body language could have been better. Because you see, when you are speaking about a former president, any former president for that matter, including Akufo-Addo, including Mills, including John Mahama, you don't show body language that looks like, oh, who is he? If you are talking about non-entity like me or any other non-entity, even when you're talking about A+, you can't say that because A+ is very clever. We those who are not clever, you can say that. You can talk about, oh, Paul Adomotri should get out there. Oh, you can stretch your hand and say about Paul Adomotri. But you can't do that when you're talking about a president of Ghana. I think that is where the issue, for me, and for all the videos that we've looked at, that's where the issue really is. Nothing to do with the content of what he said. Because if he says that Akufo-Addo has done better than Kwame Nkrumah, it's a matter of opinion. But in any case, let me ask you Ghanaians. Kwame Nkrumah's government ended in 1966. Kwame Nkrumah's government had to look after 5 million Ghanaian people. Since then, the population of Ghana has been growing. We are now more than 30 million. Is it a good story for our country that no president has done better than Kwame Nkrumah? Shouldn't presidents do better than Kwame Nkrumah? Kwame Nkrumah has his place. He won independence for Ghana. There's no doubt about it. He is to be glorified. Osagyefo, the president, he is to be glorified. That's why we don't call any other president Osagyefo. No president in Ghana will be called Osagyefo because Osagyefo is alone. Osagyefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, is to be glorified. But in terms of achievements, should we continue to reel under the fact that no other president can achieve than the president of 66 years ago? What kind of story are we writing for our country? We should definitely have presidents who have looked after 30 million people and whose achievement, if you look at it, should be more than the achievements of the president who looked after 5 people. But in every country's history, the first president, especially in the circumstances of a colonial country where independence had to be won, the first president who led Ghana to independence always holds a very, very special place. In the circumstances, you cannot talk about Kwame Nkrumah and say, Mumfamo Kwame Nkrumah no. I agree with that. But beyond that, he says Akufo-Addo has done better. And you see, this is not the first time Napo has said that. I have a video I'll be showing you. Producer, I hope you have that video. Napo said in 2020 that as far as free SH is concerned, Akufo-Addo has done better than Nkrumah. He said that. I'll show you the video today. He said it in 2020, 4 years ago. So the content of what he said, and you will see, has been said by many other people. Yamin, the Ashanti regional chairman of the NDC. But Tarek, I'm waiting for you. The things are inside your video. Yamin is here. No, not this one. Not John Mahama can be compared. He said John Mahama has achieved more than Nkrumah. Producer, get that one. Get that one, please. Lee Okran said to his constituents, I have done better than Kwame Nkrumah. I believe Lee Okran was speaking the truth. I believe so. Lee Okran is an honorable man. He's not just going to stand there and talk something. And Lee Okran is one of the biggest apologists of Kwame Nkrumah. If anybody worships Kwame Nkrumah, it is Lee Okran. Lee Okran was the member of parliament for Nkrumah's village in Krofo. Not many people worship Kwame Nkrumah like Lee Okran does. Lee Okran stood before Nkrumah's people and told them that I have done better for you than Kwame Nkrumah. I believe Lee Okran was speaking the truth. There's nothing wrong with that. But you cannot, by body language, disrespect any former president. I believe that Napoku did not intend to. But in the manner of speaking, in the KJTL market preaching situation, that's how it appears. And because it appears like that, I think we need to recognize that you cannot speak about a former president, any former president, and say, Paul Adomochi. As for me, you can say it. A+ has even said that we are not intelligent, so that's okay. So you can say anything. Oh, Paul Adomochi, get out over there. Hey, I'm fine with that. Because me, I'm not president, I'm not deputy minister, I'm not minister, I'm not anything. Me, I'm news reporter. This is where I do my work. You can say anything about me. Because me, I will say something about you. So you can also say. But when you are describing a president, so you can say, Lee Okran said, I have done more than Kwame Nkrumah did. Do you have the other Yamin? He said, Mahama has done better. Oh, okay. They don't have it. You just show me the one you have. So that's what Yamin said. I'm still waiting for the video. So this is the story, viewers. This is the story. Whilst you can criticize Nana Poku's posture in terms of talking about Kwame Nkrumah, you cannot criticize the content of what he's saying. As far as he is concerned, and he has said it 4 years ago, Adodanko Akufo-Addo, dealing with 30 million people, has achieved more than Kwame Nkrumah achieved. Yes, Kwame Nkrumah achieved something. They're not just winning independence for Ghana. He said Ghana development agenda, blah, blah, blah. Part of the problem, viewers, is the history. Do you know that we found out in 2016 that the history of Ghana has really been told by only Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah wrote several books, and he's the one who told the history. So because of the way the circumstances of the coup after coup, and then in the 1980s, the Rawlings people decided to take history out of our curricula. The history is very scanty, except the history about the achievements of Nkrumah. That's the story of our country. No Ghanaian has really, apart from a few British, documented properly the history of Kwame. Documentary ready? Documented the history of Kwame Nkrumah. Okay, now let's listen to the Napo speech at Jubilee Park. Let's listen to it.
Messiah Fish 1957. Back on there, one form of Kwame Nkrumah, no, one form of Obia, the Wabadi Mampania, what Bogana who bind, and the Ghana colony, China Nadu Dankwa, Akufuado. Messiah Fish 1957. Back on there, one form of Kwame Nkrumah, no, one form of Obia, the Wabadi Mampania, what Bogana who bind, and the Ghana colony, China Nadu Dankwa, Akufuado. Messiah Fish 1957. Back on there, one form of Kwame Nkrumah, no, one form of Obia, the Wabadi Mampania, what Bogana who bind, and the Ghana colony, China Nadu Dankwa, Akufuado.
If he says Obia ni wa Bogana who bind, that's very instructive. Very, very instructive when you are relating it to Kwame Nkrumah. Wa Bogana protected the public purse, protected the nation. We all know the difficulties that Ali Mazuri and co have with Nkrumah, taking Ghanaian money and spending it on Mali and Guinea and all of that. That's a decision of the president. We may be critical of it. Bedema, his finance minister, was critical of it. But this is the history that is not very common to all of us. Bedema, the finance minister, was critical of the way Nkrumah was spending Ghanaian money abroad. If you read Nkrumah, and I've read all of Nkrumah's books, there's nothing Nkrumah has written that I have not read. I've read all. But A+ still says that our mind is kitty kitty. A+, have you read Nkrumah's books? I mean, I've read all. Dark Days in Ghana, The River Congo, the biography, autobiography, John Millen's biography, Austin's biography. I have read every book about Nkrumah, the one he wrote and the one that has been written about him. But A+ says, Yabon, we are sorry. So let's move on. Now, the Bedema's concern was that Ghana's money was being dissipated. And when you say somebody has achieved, Nkrumah himself said it. And you see, because I've read Nkrumah, I know what he said. Nkrumah said that those who judge us merely by the standards we have attained should do well to remember the depths from which we came. Nkrumah wrote it. It is in the Dark Days in Ghana. I don't remember the page. I read it when I was in Legon. I still remember it. He said, those, if I have all of my friends, we talk about it. And when you do something and they are laughing at you, you say, those who judge us, then we all repeat, merely by what we have attained, should do well to remember the depths from which we came. That's what Nkrumah said. That those who judge us by merely what we have attained should do well to remember the depths from which we came. So if Nkrumah became president and received 600 million pounds from the British, Nkrumah was the only Ghanaian president who started his presidency with Ghana's bank accounts in the positive. Nkrumah was the only single one Ghanaian president who began his presidency with Ghana's bank accounts in the positive. Every other Ghanaian president began his presidency with Ghana's balance in the debt. Red. Everybody, Buzia, Achampon, Akufu, Rawlings, Liman, Mills, President Mahama, Kufuor, everybody. In fact, by Kufuor's stage, Ghana was declaring HIPIC. Kwame Nkrumah is the only one who had 600 million pounds. Guess what? Half of the 600 million pounds was spent on Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso for their independence. It achieved results. In 1960, 3 years after Ghana had gained independence, 30 other African countries gained independence. A lot of them with Ghana's money. Some Ghanaians felt that that was wrong. So if somebody says, please put back Yamin, very quickly, put back Yamin. Put back Yamin, the one that was here, yes. So my Yamin here, who is today the national organizer of the NDC, says, John Mahama greater than Nkrumah in achievements. I believe that Yamin too was right. That's what Yamin said. John Mahama greater than Nkrumah in achievements. He says John Mahama has achieved more than Nkrumah. Maybe he's right, maybe it's not true. So the NDC people who are shouting, what kind of hypocrisy is this? This is your national organizer speaking. He says John Mahama, this 2022, 27th April 2022, my info Ghana, John Mahama has achieved greater than Nkrumah in achievements. NDC people, what are you shouting about Nanapuku? Is that not what your national organizer said only 2 years ago? What is this hypocrisy in Ghanaian politics? Yes, Nana Poku's posturing may have been wrong. I agree with that. You don't talk about the president and flip your hands as if you are talking about a nobody. Yes, that is wrong. But the content of what he said, that and Akufo-Addo has achieved more than Nkrumah, where is the problem? This is what Yamin said. You may disagree with him that, oh, you are lying. How can Akufo-Addo achieve more than Nkrumah? What are you talking about? And then a debate ensues. That's what democracy is about. It's Kamame Kebi Abain. That's what they say on Peace FM every time when they are describing democracy. Kebi Mamin Kebi Abain. So that's what democracy is about. A debate will ensue because you say Nkrumah is greater, this one says Akufo-Addo is greater. American young children debate about that every day. American children are divided into the Thomas Jefferson people, the Alexander Hamilton people, the George Washington people, Harry Truman people. British children are divided into Tony Blair and Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher. Everyone thinks that Margaret Thatcher was the best. Somebody says Winston Churchill was the best. Somebody says no, it was Ron Attlee. He was the best. Somebody says it was John Major. What do you do? Is that a reason why we should be fighting? Because Nana Poku says Akufo-Addo has developed more than Nkrumah. You, Yamin, you said that 2 years ago. Let's get serious for a moment and fight the 2024 campaign about the future of the Ghanaian people. That's what is important. What is all this? And then Manasseh on the side can talk about KJT preachers. Anyway, my documentary is ready. I'd like to show this to you. I've asked for 15 minutes because I've been told it's 11 minutes long. It includes everything I'm telling you now. Nana Poku's thing, what happened, what didn't happen, everything. After that, text messages. We go to Germany for Euro 2024 with Andy. Hopefully you have enough time to do that. Without much ado, and I say congratulations to my editor. This documentary started producing at 8 o'clock. It's ready now.
We pray that everything that we do today will be successful and we shall give glory and thanks to your holy name. This is what we ask with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. After unveiling his running mates to the party, Mahamudu Bawumia traced his steps to Mesha Palace to deliver a message to His Royal Majesty that he, Bawumia, had selected a running mate from Ashanti royalty. Apija is the symbol of the king's image. Apija Hene is, if you like, a foreign affairs minister. And Apija Fie always breeds leaders and doers. Apija Fie Nana, J. Ekufo, is one such example. So Bawumia was eager to let the Asante Hene know that he had chosen his son as his running mate. Otumfuo responded with his usual thoughtfulness and advice. But this time, the king went a bit beyond. Because, as he put it, Nana Poku is his son.
Me bedi e makasa chen wo dem metunufo. So kunfo se ne ban na na e wakasa chen wo dem metunufo. So na zuma men kan chro.